Hello great people, you are welcome back to Physique Fashion Studio. My name is Fola. Today we'll be learning how to make one beautiful corset dress with drape cup and queen hand neckline. Let's get started. So to make this dress, I'll be making use of this beautiful floral silk fabric of about 3 yards. I will be needing this hairstay or fusible interfacing. I'll be making use of a pair of black cup. The person I'm making this dress for is cup bust 34, so I'll be making use of cup size 34 for this project. If you have 36 available, you are still good to go. I'll be making use of this underwire, a pair of underwire. I'll be making use of this regaining bone for the boning parts of the corset, and I'll be making use of this M-gun where necessary. Here I come with my basic bodice pattern. What I'm having here, this is my starting point, which is the shoulder length. The half length or waistline I'll be working with is 16.5. Then I have 3.5 here as my basque length. So the 3.5 you are seeing down here will be used for my basque concept. So I have here chest line of 8 inches. Bust point is 9 inches. The waistline of 16.5. So the first thing I'll be doing is to place my cup. I want to draw out my cup first, and the owner of this dress does not want the cleavage to be revealing too much, so I'll be making use of 8 inches as my neck line depth. So on this 8 inches, I will come in with half an inch. I will mark half an inch, which is going to serve as the center front for our corset. So you can use 7 inches, you can use 9 inches. If you want your cleavage to be revealing, you are good to use 9 inches. Some people even go to the extent of using 10 inches. But for this project, I'll be making use of 8 inches, which happen to fall on our chest line. So having done that, place your cup the way you want it to look. You are good to place it straight this way, but for this project I'll be slanting my cup a bit. You can see the way I slant it. So having done that, I will have to place my tape on this cup from the shoulder line to get my underbust, because the underbust measurement we are working with is 12 inches. You place your tape this way to achieve your 12 inches. So I will mark it. 12 inches is gotten here, so I will mark it. So the next thing I will do is to just put a dotted line to indicate where my cup is. I decide not to touch the cup, because when you touch the cup, it will be giving you another thing. Yes, here we have our cup. So having done that, before I remove this cup from the pattern, I want to get the bust measurement we are working with. The bust measurement we are working with is 34. I divide it by 4, it gives me 8.5. So I place my tape on this cup again to get my 8.5 on the bust line. Here I have my 8.5, because you are using bra cup here, so you cannot afford to, you know, place your tape this way. If you place your tape this way, this is where you will have your 8.5, which will amount to excess by the time you are, you know, finishing your work. Just as you cannot get, because if I should want to get my 12 inches under bust, so see where the 12 inches falls, but because we are using bra cup, the cup has lifted some of the measurement up. Yeah, so this is where we have our 8.5. And maybe I've not told you, the shoulder length I'm working with is 14 inches. I divide it by 2, give me 7 inches. That is how I come about this point. Then I get the armhole line. To get the armhole line, you divide the bust measurement with 6 inches. Then you add 1.5 to it. So that will be measure after the 1 inch shoulder slope. You first of all get 1 inch shoulder slope. So whatever you get when you divide your bust by 6 and add 1.5 will be the remaining. So this one happened to be 7 inches because it's the bust measurement is 34. So that is how we come about the armhole line. So having done that, now the next thing I'll be doing is to place my curve rule, just to measure out my armhole cuff. Yeah, so having done that, the next thing we will be doing is to get our bust span. The bust span we are working with is 7 inches. We divide it by 2, give us 3.5. So on the under bust we get 3.5. So we mark it on the waistline as well. Even we extend it to the basque length, 3.5. Then we connect it with straight ruler. So the next thing we'll be doing is to come to the waistline and measure 0.5, that is half an inch to the left and to the right. Then we connect it to the under bust. So we come to the basque length. We come to the right and to the left with half an inch as well, because this basque length happen to fall on somewhere around, we call it stomach. It has not gotten to the hip. So this is our waistline. This is this basque length happen to be stomach line. Then we have our under bust here. Under bust measurement of the client is 27. So we come to the under bust, we measure, we divide 27 by 4. When we divide 27 by 4, it gives us a 6 3/4. So we measure 6 3/4 here. Then the waist of the client is 28. So the waist circumference is 28. We divide it by 4. It gives us 7 inches. Take that again. The waist measurement of the client is 27 as well. So we divide 27 by 4. Again, we get 6 3/4. We measure 6 3/4 on the waistline. Then we return this 1 inch. Then we connect it. We connect the bust to the under bust. Then we connect from the under bust to the waist. So the next thing we'll be doing is to connect from this waist. Now we connect to the basque length, just this way. So now the next thing to take care of is the queen hand neckline. So, and to achieve our queen hand neckline, what we do is that, you know, here now we are having 4 inches because we have our normal 3 by 3 neckline. So the remaining we are having on this shoulder is 4 inches. So we come to this place now. We want to get 3 inches. So to create a queen hand neckline, the upper chest line, because this place now happen to fall on upper chest line 6 inches. This is upper chest line. So in the upper chest line, queen hand neckline used to be wider than the original wideness we have at the shoulder line. So what in that wise, what we do is that let's create our upper chest line, which is 6 inches. So how do I get this? If you place your tape this way, the under bust of the client is 12 inches. So from the bust now, we have the 12 inches here, you know, is cup that make the under bust to jump to this level. So this is our original under bust. It's 12 inches. So you measure what you are having from bust point to the under bust, 3 inches. So you measure the same thing from the bust point, you measure up 3 inches. That's how we get a upper chest line. So to create our queen hand neckline now, what we do is that as we have 4 inches here, we come to this place, then we get 3 inches. You can use 2.5. It depends on how wide you want that place to be. Let me use 3 inches. I might even decide to use a 3.5 because this client does not want cleavage sewing, because by the time we use 3.5 we have our, so I'm measuring that 3 inches or whatever from this armhole curve. So if we use 3.5, we have it here. It's already want to look parallel, so there should be a kind of shape that will give it that queen hand neckline. So I'll be making use of 3 inches. So you can see this is how our cup is being placed. So here we have our, this is our queen hand. You can choose, if you use the 2.5, let me use 2.35. So because I'm not too satisfied with this line I'm seeing, it's not as curvy as the way I want it. Yeah, I think I'll make use of this. So when you are making this queen hand, you can even let your, you can use that your cuff and let it be, you know, you can see that it puffs out now. You can play around with this neckline. I'll be making use of this. So having gotten our queen hand neckline, the next thing we'll be doing, before we cut it out, because by the time we cut this out, we tend to lose some of the fabric here. So I will fold it this 1 inch. I will close it up just the way you see me doing. So as I close it up, I'm going to redraw this. I will redraw it to match this line. So by the time I'm cutting, this is what I will be cutting out. So by the time I will be joining it to rhyme. So for this side, this is what I'll be cutting out. So any other thing, so let me just clean up this so that you won't confuse with this line. So one thing I want you to note is that you can play around with your queen hand neckline. Depends on how you want it. It can come this way. You can choose to use, I use a 2.75 here. That's 2 3/4. You can choose to use just 2 inches. When you use 2 inches, your queen hand will come this way. It will look this way. So it depends on how you want it. So it's because the owner of this dress does not want it, the neckline to be too wide. That is why I've been trying to be cautious there. So now another thing I want you to notice is that you place your cup. Again, when you place your cup, you can just place your marker this way in line with that front of your cup, so that you know exactly where you will connect your neckline, the yoke. This queen hand neckline is going to serve as our yoke for this project. So you take it straight this way. Having placed your cup, place your cup as it's supposed to be. Place it the way you have marked your dotted line. Then you place this way so that you know exactly where this the end of this cup falls. So that is where this is the point I will use to connect to this point. So this is our yoke now, which happens to be queen hand neckline. So what else are we doing? So the next thing for us now is to cut it out. So note that no seam allowance is added to this pattern. So let me first of all cut out the cup region. I won't cut everything. I won't cut it to the cup region. So just for you to see the result first. We will later cut it off, but not yet. Don't need this. This is our yoke. Here we have our, the pattern drafting of the front bodice of our corset. You can see how beautiful it looks. See this very place. Assuming we did not had the shortage. Assuming we didn't have it, but we would have shortage here. So then another thing I want you to note is that this basque region that I use 3.5 to come down, you are good to use any length you desire. You can use up to 4.5. So that is it for the front cut. And by the time we'll be placing this on our fabric, half an inch will be added to this cup region. Half an inch will be added here. Half an inch will be added here. Half an inch will be added here for the yoke. Half an inch will be added here. In fact, every corner of the yoke, half an inch will be added. For this side, half an inch will be added here. But for the side, 1 inch will be added as side seam allowance. Half an inch will be added down here in the basque region, so as to be used to join to the skirt part. Then half an inch. So we are going to cut this one so that half an inch we'll be able to add our half an inch to this side, half an inch to this side. So to join our dart, so that by the time you add your half an inch, the cup region will still be intact. You won't have any shortage here. Another thing I want you to note as per these front bodies is that you can see that side dart, we have not had our side dart. For this particular corset, we are not going to close the darts, the side darts. So by the time we cut out our fabric, 1 inch, we are going to mark 1 inch around this area, just this way. From the under bust, we are going to mark down 1 inch. So, and we are going to connect it to this end. So same thing will be done to this side, and we are going to hold this as our dart on the fabric. So the fabric will be holding the dart for this front cut. So now let's move to the back cut. To make the back cut now, I've come with this pattern. And for the front, our half length on the waistline is 16.5 for the front bodice. But for the back, our half back or waistline for the back is going to be 15.5. I told you 1 inch has already been used for our side dart for the front cut. So leaving us with 15.5 for our half back for the waistline for the back. So here I first draw out my 1 inch zipper allowance. I roll it down. Then I get my 7 inches shoulder length. Then I get my 8 inches chest line, 9 inch as my bust point, and my waistline is 15.5. So my shoulder length is 7 inches, and I connect this as my armhole line. The next thing we don't really have much to do for the back cut, unlike the front cut. Front cut is the major focus. So our back cut is going to be like normal back cut. Having got this basic back pattern, so the next thing is for us to get our bust measurements. And the bust circumference we are working with is 34. We divide it by 4, give us 8.5. So we measure our 8.5 this way. Then we get the bust span. The bust span we are working with is 7 inches. We divide it by 2, give us 3.5. We mark 3.5 here. We mark it down here. So on it down here, we come to the left and to the right with half and knee. Then we connect it with, from this bust point, we step up with 1 inch. You can leave it on this bust point, or you step up with 1 inch. So you connect it. This is our dart for the back. Then the waist circumference we are working with is 27. We divide it by 4, give us 6 3/4. We measure 6 3/4 here. Then we return this 1 inch. The dart 1 inch, we return it. So we connect it to the bust measurements. Connect bust to the waist. Then you come to the armhole region, armhole line to get your armhole cuff. So then you come to the zipper allowance. You measure half of an inch inward. Then you connect it to the chest line. So this half an inch that you have removed here, we will return it here. And note that our neckline, back neckline, is 3 inches wideness and 1 inch deep. So that is for the neckline. So this, I'm good to cut it out now. This measurement, the seam allowance has not been added. For the dart, for this very dart, you are good to close this dart, or you cut it out and and join it. But for this project, I will be closing that. No seam allowance has been included, so take note of that. So this is the back. So for this back cut, half an inch will be added at the shoulder line here, shoulder region. Half an inch will be added to the back, to the neckline. Half an inch will be added to the armhole line. 1 inch will be added as our side seam allowance, and half an inch will be added to the down part. So I will go ahead and use this template to cut out the fabric, this beautiful floral fabric. I will use this template to cut it out, and I will come and show you how it looks like. As a matter of fact, the joining part of this project will be happening in the second part of this video, because this video cannot be packed in one video. So great people, this is how far we can go in today's class. In the second part of this video, I'll be showing you the cutting and the joining of the fabrics, the wrapping of our draped cup, the placement of the boning, and lots more. Honestly, you cannot afford to miss the part 2 of this video for anything, because it's going to be interesting and educative. Thanks so much for watching. Drop your comments in the comment section. Share this video with your friends and family. And if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, Physique Fashion House channel, do well to subscribe now. I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.